a NERDROTIC prediction.
Did you think of moving away? Oh, no, then again, San Francisco. At last! The cult of Frisco!
Welcome to the Cult of Frisco podcast, episode 9. My name is Beak, and I am with, of course, the mighty Harry and V. Hello, Harry.
Woo! Hello.
We were just talking about
Everybody.
hair. Yeah, let's
talk about hair. It's what we do.
Apologize again, for the lateness. We have lives. It's hard to get this thing turned around. But we do thank you for those of you who listen. Harry and I have a great time doing this. We just do it for fun. Purely what it is, and if it was just me and Harry talking, we'd still do it, because this is the only way I get to see him, for Christ's sake, and he's my best friend.
It has been, exactly.
It's like, you know what, it's kind of lonely, because like literally, I just use literally, I'm sorry, all my friends, all my close friends, save for one, Josh Wallace, live in another city. I mean, you're my best friend, you live in New York, John Reed, he's up there too, he's in LA, who's listening. Hi, John. My boy Dennis is down in San Diego. Yeah. So hey, you know what? You need to visit more often so I can see John Reed, and maybe we get John Reed on the podcast. It'd be really, because John Reed's got the worst taste in everything. I'd love to debate him on stuff.
I know.
I mean, him and Dennis.
Well, it's just him and Dennis. Oh, I already saw that you posted. It's like when you posted your comment after watching it last night. Dennis was like, "I haven't really watched these last few episodes. I'm not feeling Capaldi. I'm not feeling the writing." I'm like, "Oh, it's Dennis. It's Dennis."
It's so Dennis, and he didn't get what I was saying. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's like I understood the episode, and we'll talk about it. But what I posted was, "I'm with you, Clara. I'm not too sure I like this doctor either." But that's the way he's written. I don't know if that's a good idea, but we can go into that, and let's go into it now. So last night's episode, well, we didn't. Did we talk about last week's episode too? No,
No, we're too behind.
We're too behind. So we were talking.
But
excuse me.
You know what? It worked out better that we didn't talk about this earlier, because I feel these last two episodes have really. What I liked about both of them was like the Clara doctor relationship, and how with this particular doctor. Especially when Danny says he's her space dad, and it's like, you know what? That's right. He's her space dad. It went from with how she was with Matt Smith was very much like the googly eyes, I'm going to follow you to the end because I kind of a crush on you mentality, which is what a lot of the companions have. But with 12, they do sort of have a very father-daughter relationship. And you saw that with this last one, where it was like a part of the doctor being like, well, I'm going to let you make your own decisions because, why am I going to make a decision for the human race when I'm not human? And, I've been liking their relationship the last two episodes especially.
Yeah, yes, and I think it worked out perfectly too, because the show changed. I mean, the show, I think, actually picked up its pace with these two episodes, which was kind of a surprise, because I think we were thinking it would happen with Listen, but it was almost like those first four episodes were just like it's like going into the shallow end of the pool first. I mean, it's typical Doctor Who. These guys are pros. Now, remember, those of you who are listening, we're not like 20-year Doctor Who fans. We're relatively new Doctor Who fans, but don't like question our love or knowledge of the show, because both of us have dived in. We didn't worry about the shallow end. We jumped in at the deep end in the cold water. And Uh-oh. Okay. You froze for a second there.
You're freezing. You froze up. Oh, you're okay. Now you're back. Wait.
Now back.
Yeah,
you're chunky. All right, well, we'll just keep going until you stop, until you freeze.
Yeah.
It worked out. Hey, did you watch the podcast? Yeah. It worked out. We got a good podcast in.
I didn't watch the podcast. I listened to it when it popped up.
Okay, good.
But I haven't watched it yet.
I had a pretty awesome 10-minute rant that I cut out on Nerds on Facebook that might end up like on the best of or something like that. but I just didn't think it was.
No, I remember
appropriate.
the rant. It was like, oh, he didn't put it in the actual podcast. Okay.
No, I didn't put it in. And you know what? Before we go into Caretaker and Kill the Moon, which I wanted to point out something I don't think I brought up last podcast. We were talking about we're fans of Rusty here.
Yeah.
FOR, fans of Rusty. Dennis, I'm so sorry. I just called you Dennis. I got a podcast with somebody else. I'm mixing up my co-hosts.
I'm not that cynical.
No, you're not. So, Harry, did you watch the TV version or the torrented version of Into the Dalek?
I've watched them through like a live, not like a live stream, but like kind of like a watch video link. So I didn't torrent the episode. I just streamed it. So I'm pretty sure it was most likely the one that aired like on TV, because I don't think it's an actual torrent.
Good. All right, because what I want to talk about, and maybe I brought this up, but they cut out a pretty major scene. We were sad because Rusty died, and I know you probably read it in the script, but if I went back and watched the air version, Rusty didn't die. Mm-hmm. Rusty just left. Now, what they cut out, and it could have been for special effects reasons, for a lot of reasons, is they show a scene at the very end, of Rusty going onto the Dalek ship, and he does the self-destruct, just like Dalek in the first series, with Rose, the episode Dalek. The balls float off from his body, and it surrounds him in a force field, and then disintegrates him, and it blows up the ship. They cut that out. Again, it might have been for time. You might have been on the assumption, but I'm thinking, okay, remember I just think Asylum of the Daleks. I think Asylum of the Daleks. I'm a conspiracy theorist. I think Asylum of the Daleks and this one are gonna blend in. I'm thinking Rusty still might have been the Clara Dalek. It would be cool if they did that, but I don't think Rusty's dead. I'm just saying that. And Andals, see, we can have our team up because Andals can always just be turned back on. Remember, in Time of the Doctor, he just didn't have the equipment to repair him. So, and I think Andals, when you guys, I know about some future episodes, and I think Andals would come in really handy, but I don't want to spoil anything. So let's go. I don't know. I mean, that's just my thoughts on it, Harry. I think it's cool that they didn't kill Rusty. Do you think Rusty's dead?
No, because I kind of want him to come back. So,
yeah, I think they changed their minds. And they also said, hey, let's change our minds and we could save like $1 million on effects footage.
Oh, exactly.
So, yeah.
Well, have you seen my Facebook cover photo?
I did today.
It's Rusty, Journey, Sai, and Sabra. And I'm like going, I just love the four of them. They've become amazing. I want them in every episode. I want them to team up later on. Be the new Madam Master. Can actually just have the Madam Master should lead them. That's all I need.
Actually, let's just go there now. She can
be the professor. She can be the Professor X.
Well, yeah, I know, huh?
And they can be her X-Men.
We're gonna go to Harry Envy's Facebook right now. Harry can't see this, but we're on Harry's Facebook page. You will see this, and that's great. I'm gonna steal that. Actually, I'm gonna put that on the cultoffrisco too, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
Well done.
I got all the photos, and it's like I used one of the little photo collage. Make it, and I'm just like going, there we go.
Yeah. Oh, that's very cool. And I love ScreenFlow because I can just go to that live.
Yeah.
And we're back with Harry.
And there's all my shit, everybody. You know can talk. I won't say yes to friend requests, sorry. I've been cutting back on the Facebook.
I have been too, We can talk about that later. We should do an Inside the Comic Outpost. We should just spill all the dirty little secrets. I mean, everything. That would be a podcast. Oh, my God. Just all the people. And you know where it starts? It starts with who we wouldn't friend on Facebook and, how all the girls always used to get friended. Immediately, a guy would come in and make one transaction and try to friend Tamara, and it's guys, Facebook... I mean, I woke up one day. Okay, let's just real quick. I went to Disneyland. And you know what? It was really hard for me to not post anything on Facebook going, look at me, I'm at Disneyland, look at me. But then I realized, for one, I don't want to tell everybody I'm not at my fucking house right now. And number two, I'm 45. Nobody gives a shit. And you know what? I don't give a shit if people. I mean, you know what? I'll be 100% honest with you. When you post shit where you are, you're hoping people notice. Okay, let's just be fucking honest. Okay, I don't need that anymore. But you know what? There might have been a time where I did, and that bothers me. You know, I mean, it's like, I don't need people's. I've never needed anybody's approval. I've never gotten anybody's approval to go through life, and neither do you, Harry. And I think all of us, need to.
Well, yeah, you could even if you just like you look at like my feed, it's just like before it used to be like posting shit all the time. Now it's all little things, picture here.
Little things.
Like, if I check into places, it's only because it's like I'm seeing a show or I'm like really excited about what I'm doing. That's about it. But generally, it's like most of the time I'm like on there like honestly, if I didn't play that fucking Avengers Alliance game and be like level 224, I would have deleted Facebook a while ago. But that's the only reason why I'm still there. That fucking game.
Yeah. Yeah, you know what? It's the podcast. It's staying connected in the nerd world is the only reason I stay on. I no longer post, and cute pictures of my kid that I can show to grandma and you guys and stuff. But
yeah, exactly.
No more personal shit.
If it wasn't for the fact that I live like across the country, my mom like pretty much every time I post something, she wants to be tagged in it, so she has a photo of me. Aww. It's like okay.
Hey, give Mama my love, by the way.
I will. When I see her next week, I'll be giving her
Harry's mom. Yeah, do that. Harry's mom is a great woman. Just saying it to everybody out there. Okay, so let's get to the Doctor Who stuff.
Yes.
Okay, the latest. We'll start with Caretaker, which we were right. It was one of those. It's really had this pace of going. Let's do a fun little rompy episode, and let's do a really fucking deep and dark. And they've been getting deeper and darker as the season goes on. And Caretaker. Although it was a romp episode, it was Danny Pink's coming out, as the potentially whiny soldier. I think he's a little self-righteous, but I like him. I do like Danny Pink. I
love Danny Pink.
Yeah, I've almost instantly liked him. It's taken me, but I can say I'm liking Clara more and more. I'm starting to like her. And I see her role. I hope in the future, though, we can go back to. I mean, I'm enjoying this now, but I do find myself missing the companion who just wants to come along and go on some adventures, because I feel like she's kind of getting in the way.
We might get that, since they have speculated that this is supposed to be her last season with the Christmas special. Yep. We might get that companion afterward. Because we had Journey, remember, she's like, take me with you. And maybe even like returning back to like, Sabra or Sai, someone who's like, I just want to have fun. Let's go on fun. Like, like Donna. Donna just wanted to go on adventures. She didn't want, that's all it was.
Yeah. And it can still be deep. And this needed to happen. And I almost consider these like 2-part episodes. Actually, this felt like a 2-parter, just with 2 different bad guys.
Because it had a lot of the same, carryover.
No. And the Doctor, we're getting increasingly more. I mean, it's he's an alien. We get it. Okay.
Yeah.
he's very alien. Capaldi is coming into his own. But what I'm finding with this Doctor is he's emotionally retarded. He's completely. Yeah. I mean, he's disaffected, aloof, emotionally retarded. I don't know aloof, because aloof implies you. Aloof. Yeah, he might be aloof. Yeah, that might be, because I don't think he cares.
I think he's a little aloof, but exactly, I think he doesn't quite understand feelings. Like that's what he does.
He's childlike.
He's very. It's like he hasn't discovered feelings yet. Like it's like all the feels he had as 9, as 10, as 11. He's kind of like he is. I guess it's the cold Doctor. He has a lot. He's coming across, especially with this last episode. Like he has a very coldness about him that we've been seeing in the previous episodes, but I think you got to see it a lot more, or at least Clara finally saw it full force. That coldness that he had since his regeneration.
Yes, and I think it's implied. I mean, even Matt Smith implied it before he regenerated, that this regeneration has done damage. He is completely different. This is breaking anything any Time Lord has done before. So I understand that. I am still fighting. These are just my inner feelings. I have them. I do have no control over them. I'm still fighting liking Peter Capaldi, and it's because of his age. I'm just being honest. It's because even my wife sat down. I finally almost got her pulled into Doctor Who, and she sat down. She saw Capaldi, and she's like, "Why is he old? Why would he get old? Why would they do that?" And you know what? This is casual fan here. I was rooting for a couple of black guys to be it, and but to go old white guy is almost. I mean, I'm still having trouble with it. Okay, I understand his part. I understand his character, but you know what? Everybody goes, "Look, that's what he should have been." Not really. Go back and look at all the Doctors. How many of them are actually old? 3. Now 4. 4 out of the 12. The other ones were, I mean, old is relative. I see the Doctor as between 35 and 50. Okay? Between 35 and 50 is a good range for Doctor. Because you know what? You could still, like, possibly do a romance. Or he could still be a mentor. You know, it's so we got the weird My Fair Lady thing going on right now, you know? Yeah. And you know, because like a mentor becomes a mentoree, and they both bring out. I mean, that's basically what's going on. It's an old story, you know. We all love it. It's helped Clara come out, but you know, I'm not saying I'm not enjoying these episodes, Harry, because I really am. They're really well written. I mean, this is some of the best.
No, they exactly. The episodes have been really well written. I think honestly, right now, the weakest episode for me, which is still it's enjoyable, is the Robots of Sherwood.
Yep, agreed.
To me the weakest one, like just because it's like it really was like only had like the one reference to what's been going on in the sub story. So yeah, that's the only one so far, because it's like, listen, I love Time Heist, The Caretaker, and Kill the Moon were so really good. And it's just and like the last like probably 5 minutes of last night's episode was like,
dude, that was somebody showing his skills, man. That was a writer showing his fucking skills. And I Melissa caught some of it, and I would go, you know, after watching Game of Thrones and the quality of Doctor Who, and even The Intruders, pretty much any cable show, you know, Breaking Bad, fucking Walking Dead. You go back and watch. I sat down and tried to watch a Vampire Diaries because, you know, it's a guilty pleasure. I used to watch my wife.
It is. It's a guilty pleasure show. Yeah.
Unfucking watchable. I could not stand Elena crying for another episode over Damon. It's like, you know,
that's also the CW mentality too.
It is, but I'm afraid that's going to creep into Arrow, which I'm a fan of. Flash too. You know, because like we're in the middle of this big superhero adventure.
I'm excited for that. Yeah.
Yeah. But like even in the middle of the Arrow, there's all this drama going on, and we had to worry about what's her face's law degree and shit. Like, I don't give a fuck, you know. It's so CW, you know. It's like it's you know what it's CW is like it's stuck with hot chick disease. Like, you know what, the world is dying around us. There's zombies, but here comes the hot chick, and what about her needs? You know, Elena. Yeah. You know, it's like. God, I don't know. You know, we're talking about Doctor Who. Fuck CW. You know, the CW doesn't stand a chance. Network TV just does not stand a chance against this writing. It's
yeah.
I know it gets more viewers, but that's because it's just more available. Once this creeps in, you know, hey, I watched Sleepy Hollow. I love it. It's bad, but I love it. You know, and I watched Gotham.
Oh, exactly.
Gotham was bad as I thought it would be, but I ended up kind of enjoying it, you know. It's like whatever. Probably because I'm a
that one has there's potential there in that show, and it's just like, and I think honestly, you break it down to its roots. It's a gritty cop show about a corrupt city. You just happen to be throwing in Batman characters.
Yeah.
Like if it was not Gotham and something else, like it would do all right. It might actually do a little bit better, because you're not having that fan service of having to shoeball these characters in. And then, like, I'm actually really glad that when you saw the Riddler the second episode, he wasn't, riddle me this.
No.
You know, I was like, oh, he actually talks like a normal person. He's just, you know, he's just like, guess, you know, he did the normal, guess what I found, you know, kind of thing.
Yeah.
But I don't know. The show, like,
the writing is like,
there, but it's like, yeah.
Doctor Who writing is you know, it's his strength. It's such a well-written show. Even the older episodes are such well written material. Yeah, no, they didn't have a lot of special effects, but you go into the gritty thing. This is why I'm a fan. Let's bring it right back to Doctor Who, and this is why Doctor Who appealed to me, because I live in San Francisco, smug city. Okay, I am so tired of gritty and cynical and dark. It's so played out, and it's probably because I've been reading comics. I know comics are new to some, but I've been reading them since the 80s when the gritty and cynical shit started. Okay, and everything had to go dark. Well, you know what? That's like 25 years now of dark. You know what? How about, it takes a lot of brains and a lot of talent to write something that you could still be witty and clever without being cynical all the time. And that's why I'm worried that the Doctor's taking a step back by becoming dark, because the reason I liked him was because he was the one. You know what? Matt Smith and Tom Baker could do this too. So if somebody wants to bring the Tom Baker alien argument, bring it. But you know that when the Doctor sees something he's never seen before, that little kid look he gets on his face, that's something I can't see Capaldi doing. And
no, yeah, like it was Matt Smith had that was perfect for Smith, but yeah, Capaldi is just I don't think there's the wonderment's not there.
Yeah, it's missing that.
I think that's what it is. It's not the wonderment. It's he has that been there, done that. I've already seen this before kind of look. Yeah. So I think that's maybe probably.
Yeah, and I'm going to come around, and I'll admit it when I come around.
Yeah. Oh no. Mm-mm.
Oh.
Yeah. You listen to them on tape. Yeah. Courtney Woods.
It's largely known Capaldi was not the first choice. Okay. And it's also largely known, and I really believe this.
I think so. It was last year she was a very disruptive force. So it's
really in the mix, because this feels like all the Doctor has to do is start
make a comment on Facebook about her.
And he's House Who. Because that's what it feels like. It feels like
the
House.
little girl that Clara
and
baby
House
sat
that likable
in the last
asshole.
Series that they took for Nightmares
and
and Silver.
But
and then
is not Hugh Laurie. You know what I mean?
And then exactly.
She
stopped being their nanny. We don't know how much
I just posted last night that I wasn't sure if I liked the Doctor. A lot of times it was in relation to the episode.
When you first met little Melody,
Matt Oldham commented,
the teenager or the little girl with Amy.
They
said whenever the mouthy.
Well, refresh my memory.
They said, why is it all the mouthy little
girls? And
my
response was, well, Capaldi's no Tom Baker. You know what I mean? So, yes, the Fourth Doctor was like this, but
I just started laughing.
Off like he still cared about Sarah Jane. And by the way, Clara is no Sarah Jane. Okay, let's not confuse this at all.
Yeah.
Clara is not in the top 5 of companions. She's good, but she's no fucking Amy Pond. Sorry, she's no Rose. She's no Sarah Jane or Leela. I'm actually a fan of Leela. Okay, I like Leela. And it was for her mind.
The one thing about the Caretaker,
barbarian bikini.
Promised Land. Kind of threw my whole theory out the window.
And I read Playboy for the articles, which is actually true. But
yeah, because remember at the very end.
I don't read. Readings for suckers.
Because the thing is,
So
it could still be a TARDIS, but the thing was,
I do.
Because the guy who you see at the end, you actually see his.
I ain't got time to read.
Burnt hand fall to the ground
Too
after
busy
he got destroyed.
Decorating my room with Daleks and shit.
Then,
okay. So Harry, overall, okay. Oh, so the one thing about the Caretaker is, what was the little girl's name again? Courtney Woods.
Courtney Woods.
Yeah, I mean, you can't not like Courtney Woods. I'm a disruptive force. Is that what she's called? I mean,
I think so. It's like, oh well, last year she was a very disruptive force. So it's getting better.
You know what, girl?
Someone did make a comment on Facebook about her, the little girl that Clara babysat in the last series
Was
that they
just
took
like
for
her, yeah.
Nightmares.
Which what happened to those kids?
And then exactly she stopped being their nanny.
Were they going to tell us?
Well, exactly. We don't know how much time. Well, exactly. A lot of time has passed. Or when you first met little Melody. When she was the teenager or the little girl with Amy, they said whenever you need the mouthy, they said, why is it all the mouthy little girls that they bring in are black?
Well, for the sake of not sounding like an old white guy, some stereotypes are true, and I'll just say I like mayonnaise, and I'm white. Okay, so. Some stereotypes are true. I'm just going to leave it at that. But my girl's got a big butt. That's not a stereotype right there. I like big butts. I cannot lie. Okay.
The one thing about the Caretaker, though, Promised Land, kind of threw my whole theory out the window.
With the Caretaker? Oh, well.
Yeah, because remember at the very end.
I was thinking of that too, but... It could still be a TARDIS.
Because the thing is, it could still be a TARDIS. But the thing was, because the guy who you see at the end, you actually see his like burnt hand fall to the ground.
Oh yeah, you see him get destroyed.
The thing, and then it's just like he's all form, and then it's just like she's not working alone. There's at least one other person there, and it looked like probably. Every door led to a different room, so there might be like I don't know. It could still be a TARDIS because it's fucking huge. It's a huge white room, and she just walked outstairs and you're like,
Harry, I think they threw that in to throw you off. Man, remember the TARDIS is a time machine, so he could have died, and she should have just went back and prevented it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? How is this person even watching the Doctor all the time? This person is obviously they're trying to make you believe that it's really heaven because this person can see everything the Doctor's doing through a timeline, and but I don't think they would actually show you. They showed the whole Journey Blue thing for a reason. You know, they made it look like that for a reason, so it would look like so it would make you think that. So it was either to make you to throw us off. Because
exactly. So it's like, or was that to throw us off to begin with? So it's like, I don't know. I expect because from what the pictures I've seen, I think I've seen photos of Capaldi with her and Cybermen. So I think it's not. You won't find everything out until what is it, episode 10, episode 11, whatever the final one is.
Yeah, other than our speculation, Harry, I'm honestly, I don't think either of us are close. I think we're going to be surprised. I think
especially the guy says it's like, oh, we've gone by many names, Nether Spear, and that's what her term was, Missy of the Nether Spear.
But I mean, every rumor I heard this year was the Master was coming back. I mean, I heard that the Master was coming back, and then Stephen Moffat late in the game shot it down. So maybe he did, and I do. Stephen,
or maybe he said he shot it down.
Yeah, but you can't. I mean, the Master can't be gone. You can't. I mean, the story was told for that Doctor. We're way past it now. You know.
Yep.
And you could still listen. It's like you ruined. It's like the Master redeemed himself. You got to treat the Master like Magneto. You've already made him a somewhat sympathetic character. Like this was done to him. Okay. So Sorry, am I boring you? No.
No, it's later for me than you, but not by much.
It's late. You should get
not by much.
Nas. Nas is the speed drink. That makes
No,
it
it's okay.
speedy. So that did kind of shatter our theory, but I won't give up yet. And I thought it was interesting. Like, she's been very busy doing what? Now, maybe she's Mr. Clever, the leader. Maybe she's a cyber planner,
Oh. Mm-hmm.
And what the Cybermen need. They've always talked about, like, we need to make them scary. Well, you need to give them some depth. They've always needed. They want to upgrade, but who's behind them? And now we know a little bit about the cyber planners. Like, they actually have personalities, and they have wants and needs. So, and the Cybermen are way more badass than they used to be. Like, they could fight the Daleks now. They could probably take them on.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see, and we know they're in the end. So, So we go from Caretaker to what I will say is the fabulous Kill the Moon. Kill the Moon was unpredictable, was bonkers, was crazy. It was heavy. It was Waters of Mars. That's the tone it had for me.
That's what I like on my little note sheet right here. While watching it yesterday, I put under there, reminded me of Waters of Mars early on. Like, before it actually went heavy, it was like just like their interaction. Even the woman who was like the main astronaut scientist reminded me a lot of that actress. So it was like, I'm like, that was the first thing that came to mind. The other things I liked about this episode too were it was dealing with Courtney Wood, like how she kept like the automatically was how Clara kept being like, you have to tell her she's special. She doesn't think she's special after you took her, because he took her in Caretaker, he took her to see that one thing, and she puked on the TARDIS, which I thought was hilarious. She was like, he's like, puking on the TARDIS. And I was thinking about, it reminded me of the whole thing about the whole specials and companions, like, are chosen because they're special thing. It reminded me of Donna's story of, like, at the end when she's just like, I'm just a temp from Chesick, and the what's the other the regenerated doctor from the hand tells her, oh, you don't know how special you really are. And it's just like that whole thing to be like, that's kind of like a common theme with companions. It's like they get taken away on these fantastic masters because they just think they're ordinary, and they're like, the doctor shows them just how extraordinary they are.
Yes, the Metacrisis Doctor, by the way,
who
we are still waiting to return. They need to bring that back. They went ahead and put that out there. They should use that next time, by the way, and bring back the real Rose. Agreed. Totally agreed. I thought it was crazy that they brought her, and I love how they made her a real kid. You know what? You know why most kids are disruptive influences? Because they're scared, okay? Mm-hmm. And you know what? She threw up. That was real. And she, like, wanted to go home.
Exactly. It's the whole right away. She's like, I don't want to be here anymore. I want to go home.
This is scary. There's people getting eaten by spiders.
Because it's like, and that's the thing. It's like the doctor, that it's just like no one has seen everything you've seen. So it's like, Claire has been with him long enough where she's fine.
Hi. You're back. Okay. Let's clap one more time for audio's sake here. So 3, 2, 1. Here we go. This episode brought to you by Nas. It looks like goat piss. It tastes like goat piss. But it makes you really awake.
It's because it is goat piss.
Yes. I like goat piss. It's sterile and I like the taste. Actually, That's why I sound so fucking excitable on these podcasts. You know, I've gone back and looked at the podcast, and I am a loud spastic mofo.
You've always been a loud spastic mofo,
Yeah.
Gary.
I was gonna say I'm always like this in life. So. Oh yeah. Okay. So we were talking about Kill the Moon.
Kill the moon.
Kill the Moon. So, and we were talking about, what's her name again, man?
Courtney Woods.
Courtney Woods, and how much I like her. And so.
Oh, she grew on me from Caretaker to this one. I was like, oh, she was a much better character in Kill the Moon.
Yeah, and you know, the Doctor really gets annoying and dark in this one, and you could tell Clara has just had enough of, you know, he's so different from Matt Smith's Doctor, and I think that's a thing she's having a hard time with, you know.
Yeah.
And but she knows how he is inside, but I don't think he does.
Yeah.
You know. So, you know, they really. But, I mean, can you really argue with the Doctor, for one, lied to her about the gray area thing? There's a point in the episode where, okay, so if you haven't watched it, walk out now. Spoiler warnings. So the premise of the episode is Courtney's not feeling special because the Doctor told her she wasn't special. And it really started affecting her. And Clara found out, and she, you know, waltzed onto the TARDIS and demanded that, you know, he tell her that. And he's like, why? Why would I lie to her? You know, and, you know, he's being like, and here's the problem I have. He's being a lot like an adult who's never had kids. But the Doctor's had kids. Even 2 episodes ago, he said, I have dad skills, you know, and he was very non-dad. Very not. So they need to work on that consistency, because a dad is a dad. I'm a dad, okay? And you just know how to deal with some dads who take part in their children's lives, know how to deal with them a little bit, as much as we can. We do the best we can. So the Doctor was kind of a little out of character there, but I won't blame him for, he lied to Clara, because what happens is they go to the moon. They find a group of astronauts there. Actually, the TARDIS appears into a crashing shuttle with a bunch of nuclear bombs, and it turns out that the moon has a bunch of deadly spiders on it, and they find out that the moon is an egg with a giant creature in it that they think is going to come and kill the Earth. So they have to make a decision to kill this creature or save the Earth, and the Doctor's not going to make this decision for them. Now, this might not have been a fixed point in time, so I don't know that. But the Doctor, this is the first time I've ever heard him. I know this might be true, but this is the first time I remember hearing him say there's gray areas, and I can't see what's going on. It's the first time he's come out and admitted that the Doctor knows what's going on most of the time. Okay? That's a big secret that they let out. Like, the Doctor he's kind of like the TARDIS. Which would give the inference that he's probably lived this stuff before. I mean, we can get really deep on this, but he said to Clara this was a gray area. I personally think he was lying. Do you think he was lying there, Harry?
I think he was.
Okay, so this gray area, and what I wanted to make is they have to make a decision whether to kill the moon or save the Earth. Now, you think the Doctor was lying as well? I think he was lying.
I think he was lying as well, because or he thought they would make the choice he was going to make.
Yep.
Because it's like the whole thing with Clara talking to the world, saying this is what's going to happen. Leave your lights on, and we don't do anything. We let this creature hatch and see what happens, or turn it off and we destroy the moon. And there was just like a beautiful shot of her looking out into the Earth, and as it's circling, just the lights are just shutting down, like the world in unison. There wasn't even like little lights anywhere. It was just completely dark.
Yep.
The world was like, fuck it, destroy the moon. And she still was like a little bit hesitant, and then the Doctor appears to officially stop it before I don't remember the science astronaut woman's name, before she actually presses the button, and then he takes him to Earth, and you see the creature being hatched and like the eggshell disintegrates, so it was never going to hit the Earth, which was one of the concerns. And then lo and behold, in its place is another egg.
Yeah,
so it's
because
it was, and it's back to, it's like, you're like, okay, well, who's to say, who knows how long that thing will sit for? Like, how long was that egg in place? So if it's something that has happened before, and he just took you to another future of it, so it could be the Doctor's seen it before because he's seen maybe that hatch, or he's seen one later on hatch, so he knew what was going to happen, and maybe he was doing that whole, like, I'm going to let the human race decide their fate, unless they're not going to do what I think is what they should do, then I'll intervene, which he's done before. He's intervened because it's like, oh, you're not doing it the way I was going to do it.
Yeah.
Like the whole oh, stupid human race, always getting it wrong.
Well, and he is the lonesome god. He is a god.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't be surprised if, like, at the end he was God, who needs a human companion. The thing is, let's forget the science. Okay, we're talking Doctor Who science schmience, but the Earth needs the moon, folks. I don't know if for those of you who've gone to school, there's a little thing called gravity, and if the moon isn't here, poles shift, planet in disarray, everybody dies anyway. So even if it's gone for a second. Now, I was waiting for a star whale to come out of that egg. I was a little disappointed when it wasn't. But,
throwing it back.
So, that decision is made, but the end was so fucking cool. So, for one, the Doctor finally spills what he knows, which was, this is the point where you stop being a selfish little human race and you start branching out in the stars. This was the turning point. And they also let you know that she becomes president. The little girl becomes president, and, which is funny because she's English. But never mind. They could change that law, because there's a law that you have to be a citizen of the United States. Although there's some...
Oh, it was Courtney the president in...
Oh, okay. Yeah, I didn't pay attention.
Because he does say the president, and he says he, and that's when the astronaut goes, she corrects him and says she. So I'm kind of wondering, like, well, how far in this in the future are they? Because if Courtney's, like, 15...
Well, maybe it was her descendant or something like that.
Exactly.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't... I'll have
political decision, yeah.
This is a rare moment where I only saw this episode once, so I'll be watching it again. I know, but my wife is currently addicted to Outlander, and I am, and she has to catch up on Bones and all these other shows that have come out. So, like, I can't, it's
all the new shows have started.
By the way, my wife is so excited about. My wife is Melissa Wagner, by the way, hairdresser extraordinaire, owner of Secret Agent Salon in California Street here in San Francisco. www.secretagentsalon.com, where Harry is the former manager, also the former manager of the Comic Outpost. See the connections? Yes. Sorry, that was Nas.
That was.
So... I say that. Oh, she's so excited about Outlander now that she wants to do a 10 to 15 minute segment with her friend Cindy. Cindy, and they want to attach it to the Sutro Watchtower podcast, an Outlander segment. And I'm like, and by the way, again, we can say this again. I talk Outlander because it was influenced by Doctor Who. Mm-hmm. Yes, Jamie, original companion for the second Doctor. Yeah, we've gotten into this. So, let's get to the end of the episode, which really makes this episode, Harry. For one, Harry, why don't you take us through the end of the episode? I've been blabbling along.
Well, so the end of the episode kind of comes back. They return to Earth. They let Courtney out of the TARDIS back to the world, and before Clara leaves, she has to speak her mind to the Doctor. And in a nutshell, what I saw it was like watching it. It was like that moment when the companion stops loving the Doctor or starts to see the Doctor for something that where it's like that kind of like, I guess in a way, like that little haze of, the excitement, the adventure, it starts to become a little bit more real. And it was the frustrations of him knowing the outcome but not doing anything from it, and being her in a way it felt like it was a child, like, the parent with a child making sure, like, being like, I'm not going to hold your hand while you do this, so you better do it the right way, because otherwise I will have to come in and intervene.
Yeah.
Kind of just felt like it was that moment. She had that moment of, and again, going back to the parent thing, it was that moment when your kid yells at you saying that you're a fucked up parent and I never want to see you again. When they're 18 and they just like storm off because they're like, they're seeing you in a different light. You're not the same light. Especially, well, I guess if you were a fucked up parent, they're seeing you in that light that, like that. I guess the light has finally turned on. They're seeing you differently.
Everybody's a fucked up
and that's
parent.
what it was. Because even though, and then once she leaves the TARDIS, and when she pretty much tells the Doctor, you can shove the TARDIS up your ass, I don't care where it ends up, don't ever come back for me, storms off, he disappears, and so she ends up with Danny, and he even says, I know that look. It's like, when I wanted to leave the army, that was my look. I get what you're coming through, but it's like, and it's still so fresh in your head, so you need some time to like think and make sure what you're doing is the right decision. Like, it was a hot-headedness of, it was the fight she has yet to have with her Doctor.
Yep. And this was the beginning of the end for her, I believe. That's what it felt like for me. So she breaks up with the Doctor. She told him to fuck. You're right. Tells him to fuck off, and he goes. And he looks confused. He looks a little hurt, but he looks more confused.
He's hurt and confused by it. Like, she doesn't know. And the best line was, I'm going to slap you so hard you'll regenerate.
Oh, I know.
I was like, yes, girl, yes. Oh, God, that was like the best line. I want a t-shirt. Slap me so hard I'll regenerate.
I guarantee you, like, you want me to look online right now?
There probably is.
Yeah, I know. We'll just do it later.
No, but it needs to be a like, kind of like, slap me so hard I'll regenerate.
It'd be so funny. You see, like, if they could do a dual picture of a hand hitting her face, and Capaldi and like Matt Smith's coming out the other end or something like that.
I'm gonna slap you so hard you're gonna regenerate back.
Yeah, and I think, that's where I'm like, I am confused a little bit, like, because we're not feeling settled with these two. At any point in time, like, this doesn't feel like it's Clara and the 12th Doctor off on the adventures. It's adventures with those two, but
it's Doctor Who featuring the 12th Doctor and Clara. It's not starring. It's just like, it is. It's like, it's the fact. It's like, it's a lot. It's the jumbledness of, they make a good team. I like the pairing of the two of them. And you're starting to see the cracks in their relationship, but it's like they've never formulated into the Doctor and Clara relationship. Because I don't even think she had that with Matt Smith. And so that's where I think like, her companionship has been very jumbled with her Doctors.
It just makes me wonder about the future of the show. I mean, it's still written good and stuff like that, but like, does anybody seriously think Capaldi's going to be a Doctor for 5 years? Like, I could be proven wrong again, but I just, no.
Well, even you can go back to the Caretaker, and it's like the action sequence of the jumps and all that, it was Danny Pink.
Yeah, like the Doctor actually got tired running down a hallway. He's like, stop. And I'm like, I don't want that for my Doctor. I'm sorry.
Yeah, exactly. So it is that thing where it's like, I think if Capaldi goes, I think I would want to see him do at least 2 seasons, like, to kind of more get it. Because I feel if he leaves after this season, I don't know. I feel like it was like a, I don't know. I kind of feel like they're like incomplete in a way, because I don't think he was fully formulated, and I think Capaldi will need 2 seasons to completely formulate into a good Doctor, or into a compelling Doctor. A good.
Yeah, I you can hear me? Okay.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, I agree. I think 2 seasons. I find it odd that they haven't come. I mean, there was a couple articles that he might be coming back, but Stephen Moffat has not gone on the internet, and they've asked him directly, and he said he's not saying anything. Now that could be them just like, hey, we're not. There's no spoilers, but I think there's something really to this Christmas episode coming up. It got a big star, by the way. That happened since we were gone. And I'm blanking on his name now. Nick Frost. Nick Frost from Shaun of the Dead and World's End, and just a funny guy, good actor. It's great to see him. It would be awesome to see him and Doctor Who. Now both guys from Shaun of the Dead. You know, Simon Pegg, of course, was in the first season, and you know, we don't know who the villain's going to be. We'll find out. I'm getting excited because, for one, this is cool for me and Harry because we went and spoiled ourselves and read scripts and stuff. So now these episodes are actually new, and
exactly.
I've really found the last 3 were just really good. Now I think
the writing has gotten better as the season progresses. Yeah. So I think the writing's gotten better. The supporting cast has been really well done.
Strong.
They've had a very strong supporting and guest starring cast and creating like interesting characters that fans want to see.
The Doctor's always had the strong supporting cast. Actually, last season maybe that was the big problem. Was it didn't have, Hyde was the only one that stands out to me as having a good supporting cast. You know, and somewhat Nightmare in Silver. But it was missing that.
Yeah, and because you also had like 2 or 3 that involved Vastra.
Yeah, which is great, you know.
Which is great, but again, it's like if you overdo any supporting character, you either like just give me them all the time, or what's the whole point of having the companion around?
Oh, and speaking of supporting characters, I want to talk real quick. I just might put out my favorite supporting character, and right next to the Doctor, my favorite Doctor Who character, Captain Jack Harkness. Bring him fucking back, please. He needs to return.
He needs to return
now. So I think if there's I predict it would be next year, and this is why. I think if there's a little bit of a downturn in the ratings, it would be a good way to bring him back up. I feel, and also, I reread the article again today. Moffat did say that season 9, and I say it again, season 9's regeneration is going to be something. Well, not regeneration. He said the season ender is going to be one you just will not see coming. So I predict either a woman Doctor or a repeat Doctor, because they've made it pretty clear since the end of the time of the Doctor, and I'm not shitting you on this one. I've heard grumblings that the Doctor can now choose his face. Okay, and Tom Baker came out and said we revisit some. I think there's something to that, and I'm going to also put it out there. And this is just fan fiction right now because I know it won't happen, but I would love that for them to bring the 8th Doctor back for a full set of for fucking 4 years. Paul McGann, because Paul McGann's the shit. Okay, and if you not go watch the what was it, the Night of the Doctor, the little prequel to Day of the Doctor. Fuck,
that prequel was really good. Yeah,
man, he is great. So yeah, that's a little fan of me. I know it won't happen that way. And I'll get over the Capaldi thing, and I'll probably, I'll officially put it to bed. I won't bitch about it on the, I'll still bitch about it to myself, but I'll leave it alone on the podcast. 'Cause it's probably getting pretty old. Yeah.
As a NERDROTIC prediction.
Didn't you think of moving away? Oh, no, then again, San Francisco.
Frisco!